Welcome to the Freewrite, a show about the art of songwriting, storytelling, and the creative process. My name is Travis Barrett, and every week I sit down with a writer, musician, or other creative to talk about process, inspiration, and creating something from nothing. My guest today is Elise Latrondo. Elise is a singer-songwriter based in Orange County, California. Her first EP, Thank You for Saying That, is available on all streaming platforms now. I've had the pleasure to be able to work on this EP. So it is something that she and I are very proud of, and I do hope that you check it out. And this is just an opportunity for me to talk to her about the project, to ask her some specific questions I've been wondering, to point out some of her beautiful lyrics that I just am such a fan of and wanted to talk about. So please enjoy this conversation with Elise Latrondo. Elise, the first return guest of the Freewrite. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Of course. It's a big... This episode will be dropping 2 days after your EP comes out. So congrats on the EP. It's weird to congratulate you on it when we're like finishing up final touches.
Yeah, I know.
Congratulations. It's out and it's great.
It feels like bad juju. But I mean, like... Yeah. If it's finished, I know it is, but I don't know.
In the future, at the time anyone hears this, it will be finished.
Yes, yeah, unless something insane happens with DistroKid or one or both of our computers explode.
Yes. So, knock wood, it's going to be done and out. So, congrats. Let's talk about it. Is there anything like broadly you want to share about it before we dive into more specific type things?
Broadly that I want to share. No, just that I'm super proud of it. And it's just one of those things that I wanted to do and did. And I guess by that metric, like you can't tell me shit. You know what I mean? I've tried to make that my philosophy this year is just do the things that you said you were going to do and like, just be proud of that and like take inventory of that at the end of the year. And so, obviously I hope people like it, but I also just am enjoying it being made and being like having it out. Like I'm so excited. I'm so excited to the concept of it being out by the time this episode drops is like really, really exciting to me. And also like maybe you feel this way because you have done so much of the work on it as well. I've been saying Travis is sitting on the GOAT button by accident just because the level of production and mastering and skill is just like always so impressive to me. But I feel like, when women are just like so ready to have their baby, it's like month 8 and they're like, it's not cute anymore. Okay. They're just like the ankles are swollen and they're just sweaty. Yeah. And the boobs are too big. I'm like, that's me right now.
It wasn't until right now that I know what it feels like to be an 8-month pregnant woman. That's crazy. Yeah. I feel the exact same way.
Boobs too big is a problem I never thought I would have. I started music and here we are.
I relate to that with like the production of it all. Cause I'm like, when I listened in the car yesterday, I was like, no, if I spend another 6 months working on this and fine tuning everything a million more times, then it'll be really good. And I was like, no, you just gotta like, we made the decisions and it's where it's at. And we just gotta like put it out and start making new stuff and like, just keep the ball rolling. Because I have an urge to like, I don't identify really as a perfectionist until moments like this, I realize, oh, just let it go. Like,
we're in the diminishing return of criticism phase where I was listening to the mixes in the car the other day and I was like, well, if I was happy 2 mixes ago, why the hell am I so stressed out right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's because I ruined it in all my fine tuning. That's probably why. Yeah.
No,
I thought of that. Anyway.
What would you do?
Yes. Yeah. I'd be like, no, I know. That's why. Yeah. So we should pay people hundreds of dollars to mix it instead of
And I plan to.
No, I'll block.
Oh, Travis doesn't know this, but there's a big Apple Pay
I have,
just waiting for him.
I was just gonna say I have a friend that blocks people on Venmo, and I was like, I'm gonna take after her and block you. But you
No,
just
you're
mentioned
not.
Apple Pay. I don't know.
I know where
Can
you
you?
live.
That's true too. I'll just start
I
finding
told Travis
cash
I'm just
everywhere.
gonna start sneaking like hundreds into his shoes when I'm over there. I'm gonna
You're like
like
the three
tie
wise
them to
men.
his cat's tail.
Well, then the cat has $100. Anyway, let's dive in. I think I want to talk about your lyric writing because I think that is the I think I've heard you say that that's the thing that you care most about, and it's the thing of yours that I'm most impressed by. And so I want
Cute.
to just kind of again start broadly there. Is there anything for this EP that felt different than other projects, or anything that you kind of leaned into, or any techniques or strategies, or wherever you want to start with lyrics?
I think lyrically, since I've only done singles, and so I think lyrically, seeing this project as like a broader story. Um, I mean, the songs were almost all done, other than Manifest, bef- by the time I decided to make this an EP.
Sure.
Um, but I think getting to like see my lyrics on a bigger scale like that, and like as parts of like a larger story, definitely has informed like the way I've been writing songs since.
Mm,
Um, and I think it's taken some of the pressure off, weirdly. I think obviously you should still try very hard from song to song, but I think like this is the first time I took a step back and was able to look at like having an oeuvre, where you're like the Elise lyrical cinematic universe. I'm like, um, and then listening to the mixes too and being like, oh, I say this a lot. Like we were saying the other
oh.
day, I say like it's all the same. I find
Mm.
myself, or what Lizzie McAlpine says,
Lizzie
like
McAlpine, I saw a
over and
compilation
over.
of Over and Over in like five, at least five tunes.
Yeah, and then I guess just deciding moving forward, like, what do I stay away from repeating, or what do I lean into being like, that's an Elise kind of like
Eliseism.
trademark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's been really rewarding to kind of to write again since working on the EP and be like, oh, this sounds so me. Which I didn't consider so much before.
Sure.
Um, but yeah.
I really enjoy the process of structuring a project in terms of just laying out song order. And I want to ask you about that. Was there anything, any like revelations maybe about that, or anything that surprised you about laying out the order?
I told you the other day that like in the other guys where oh, what's the actor's name?
Mark Wahlberg?
Ryan Coogler? He plays the bad guy, but he says like the best way to tell the story is like you start with the end for a little bit, and then you go to the beginning, and then of course you have the middle and then the end. Um but I
Yeah.
agree with that. That's always like such strong narrative to me. It's the most fun way, and I think structuring it, I wanted it that way, where you're you're moving into the narrative from the perspective of the very end.
Mm,
Um, and like day one is the first song, which is about the first day of a breakup, which is like, it's a funny beginning because it's called day one, but it's day one of like a completely new future that you didn't foresee from the happiness of a relationship.
yeah.
And then structuring it from there and going back to the beginning with Manifest of like, I want this person so bad. And then ending on Opposite Day, which is like the denial phase of being broken up, of like, if it was Opposite Day, like everything would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was really fun to yeah, to tell the story and to move to find out that like my songs actually have a place and like an order amongst one
Mm,
another.
yeah. I know I was kind of having, I haven't been listening in order while working on it very often until the past day or two. I'll now like listen in order, and I love the way that maybe new things are coming to light in the meaning of it all with that structure in mind. And that leads into a new segment on the pod that we call I
What
need
is
to
your fucking problem?
no, so I wrote down some of my favorite lyrics on the project.
Glazer.
And and what I want you to do is you can either just like acknowledge, say, cool, glad you like that one, and we can move to the next one.
Mm.
Or you could maybe tell me what it means to you now. You could maybe
You know,
tell
this is
me
like every songwriter's wet dream is for someone to sit down and be like, what does that lyric
what.
mean? You son of a
Well,
bitch.
but I mean, no, well, I don't like the question, what does it mean? As in like, what did it mean when you wrote it?
Mm,
Because I don't know, I fancy myself a little bit of a believer in like the muse, or like when people say it just came through me, or I don't
mm,
know how I wrote that, it just happened. I feel like to honor that idea, I don't want to ask what it meant when you wrote it. If you want to share that, by all means.
mm,
But my question is more like, what does it mean to you now? Like when you hear it, or like when you reflect on it, when you're a listener now too. The album is
mm.
out, so you're a listener of it.
Yeah.
What is that? What does it mean to you now? Or yeah,
Okay.
what did it mean when you wrote it?
Done.
Or is there just anything you want to share on it? Or you can pass. Totally
Okay.
up to you.
Okay.
Um,
I'm so excited.
well, the first line of the EP
Mm,
in the song Day One is
mm.
meaningless beginnings lead to meaningless ends. And it wasn't until today that I was listening, and I was like, what a way to start the thing. Like,
That's funny. I told that lyric to my boyfriend, who this EP is largely about, and I said that line, and he was like, um, and that's an allusion to Romeo and Juliet. And the first line of Romeo and Juliet is "Violent beginnings lead to violent ends." I
mm,
believe that's the opening line, and I wanted to play on that, and I think it was like kind of fun to like reference the beginning of a work in the beginning of it, and
sure.
like say this is the beginning. But kind of that's just like the very jaded reflection on everything has meaning when you're giving it meaning in a relationship, and then
Mm,
it's over and you're like, actually all of it was bullshit maybe. And so yeah, it's just the really disillusioned kind of like, oh, it meant so much that this causal chain brought me to you. And then like it's like how people say, I also say this in the EP, but like I think it's for the best. And people only say that because you have no other option.
sure.
And so yeah, that just kind of leaning into the meaninglessness and being like, I guess things just happen and there's not really a good reason if
Mm,
if they didn't happen in a way that I wanted.
yeah.
Yeah. I do love
Damn.
that line though.
It's a great way to, again, it hadn't clicked to me until today that like that's how you start the whole project.
And also
Um,
when a relationship ends like unceremoniously, you're like, "What?" Like sometimes you could have a breakup and you're like, "I wish like something fucked up happened so that we could have like a big blowout and I could have something cool to tell my friends." But sometimes the relationship ends pretty sadly and quietly and you're like, "Ah, I didn't even like get a cool breakup." Like that sucks. You know?
yeah, yeah. You can't even break up in a cool way.
I know. I'm such a
Damn.
fucking loser.
Okay. Line two. Are you flossing out the letters of my name between your teeth?
Okay.
So
Uh,
good.
so aforementioned subject of the song is a heavy flosser. Um, and that just was like, I wanted to throw in, I think a lot of songwriters do this, like throw in something that would only mean something to them.
Mm,
And, like, if they heard it, they'd be like, "Oh, that's about me."
mm. Because I
Um,
floss so much? You get like a
yeah, yeah, fully,
oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, and sorry, that makes me think, like, if my other exes listen to this, like, I'm sure
I
they
floss all
floss.
the time.
But,
That must be about me.
yeah, that was just, like, a reference to that was just, like, throwing them an artistic bone and being like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'm thinking about that."
Yeah. Also, like aside from the like specificity of it being about a person, it's such a vivid imagery driven line. And I appreciate that very much. I think it's a
Thank you.
great
You know
line.
what is funny that you say that is that I that line was inspired by a line that I wrote in a poem I wrote in college for a poetry class, and I had said, like, there was a line in one of the poems that said, like, "Your hair in the teeth of my comb,"
Mm,
and I remember my professor saying, like, "I that's, like, such an intimate thing to say,"
yeah.
and I wanted to do something like, "My name" or something in, like, the string of your floss. And that's kinda how it ended up is, like, flossing out the letters of my name between your teeth.
Yeah. Are there, this is now tangential, but are there any lines from something you've written long ago that maybe you don't like the entire piece, but there's a line in the piece that really stands out as something that you love? Does
Oh,
anything jump to mind?
there's a bunch. That one where, yeah, your hair in the teeth of my comb was, like, part of a much longer poem. It's called a sestina. I don't know if you know what that
Mhm.
is, but it's a very specific poem format that is
Sure.
so long and complicated, but I just like that line a lot. None come to mind
Cool.
right now. I feel
That's
like I've
fine.
been
I sprung
handed the
that on
aux
you.
and I don't
Yeah.
remember what I listened to.
No, that's fine. Okay. Line 3. This is perhaps my favorite line from your song Junkyard Baby. It gets stuck in my head all the time. I'm a huge fan. Drop your bomb and drop your anvil. Step on me. I'm just a landfill too. Tell me, tell me what I mean to you. I don't know how much of that is feels like one line to you and how much of that, but that
Um,
bit gets stuck in my head all the time.
Yay! Good. Um, I think that's at the end of the song, that's in the very last chorus, and I think that's just no more beating around the bush, like, drop your bomb, drop your and do your absolute worst and see if I won't leave.
Mm,
To be the biggest, absolute, craziest asshole you can be and, like, see if I won't leave. It's not a very good message. This is not something I would impart to my daughter if I had one, but,
sure.
yeah, like, bring the hammer down, drop your bomb, drop your hammer, and I kinda wanted there's a, put on your cartoons is another,
Hmm.
lyric, and it kind of just that Wile E. Coyote,
Yeah.
like, let's have this, like, insane cartoonish not toxic, but just, like, extreme love affair, like, how high can we crank things up and, like,
Yeah.
stay together?
Sure.
Um, so yeah, drop your bomb, drop your anvil, step on me, I'm just a landfill to how hard can you debase
Mm,
yourself in the vein of staying together, um, before it's too much? Will it ever be too much?
mm.
Stay tuned. It
I w-
won't.
I
It
wa- I wanted to ask too about the title line, the intro line of Junkyard Baby, and just kind of where that came from. I'll be your junkyard baby. You can trust me with your trash. It's another like y- y- your songs are often very contained in their own world in a way that I love,
won't.
like in a way that I heard someone critiquing a artist who just came out with an album recently and showing I think a line or two in the chorus or the verse where they just kind of had like metaphor slop. It was like here's a
Mm,
metaphor, here's a metaphor, here's a metaphor, here, and they weren't connected, and they were all just kind of in a row.
mhm.
and someone was critiquing that of like be specific, like lean into one metaphor. Someone else then rebutted with like it's showing how hectic and crazy their mind is that they're just using all these
Mm.
metaphors, which okay, sure. But your songs are often so you're painting this picture that is like all encompassing of like I feel like you're willing to take a metaphor and like sit with that for a while. And I appreciate that.
Thank you. That's so nice, and I appreciate you saying that because I often one of my like loudest doubts is that I do that too much. Like I like
Mm.
my songwriting is like like in Extreme Home Makeover when the kids like I like horses and they turn the kids' bedroom into a fucking barn. Like I feel that way about my songs where I'm like, ooh, trash. Like let's write a whole song about trash. But I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I'm
I
that makes me really happy that that goes appreciated,
yeah.
especially by someone who has to listen to so much of my music so often. Um, but yeah, I think I came up with that line. Me and my friend Jonathan were driving home from an LA Sparks game, go Sparks. It was one of those like miraculous inspiration moments where it just like I
Yeah.
think we passed like a not a junkyard, but like I saw the word junk somewhere and I was like dating this guy and like, you know, having these feelings and I was like and junkyard felt like it fits somewhere in there. And then I literally went home and wrote the song in like 30 minutes. It was
Yeah.
just one of those like miracles. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's another one where like you're saying, I actually don't know where how that all like came to fruition, but I did end
Yeah.
up fucking beating the junk horse to death in that song. So I can't like write another song about trash probably for the rest of my songwriting career. Or I'm
Yeah.
just the trash girl.
Every song is
Yeah.
yeah, cool. Okay, next one. We're now entering the morning pages portion of this segment.
Mhm.
And I don't have it all, but if you want less, then it's all yours. They were like
Who the fuck wrote
when
that?
when you sent me the lyrics, I guess a little behind the song, this was like a track that I had made that I sent you and that you then sent like a vocal to. So I just kind of I dragged your audio file onto my into my Logic session and I started listening. And over the course of like a few hours or a few days me working on it, I feel like every time I would work on it, a different line would just come out and like stab me in the chest. And then I would like text you and be like, whoa.
What is your fucking problem?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then,
Why
like,
would you
by the end
say
of the
that?
day, I had been 5150'd by Travis and a handful of loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, Morning Pages, I called it that. It was originally Junkyard Baby Interlude because it has a lot of the same melodies and, um,
The vocal sample that
yeah,
starts it off is from the original Junkyard Baby.
which I love because you can't milk Junkyard Baby hard enough to me, like, that's my baby. But, I ripped a lot of those lyrics from my morning pages from when I was doing the artist way, which no one is ever doing at a happy time in their life. Can we be fucking honest that like the artist way is for like people on the struggle bus, capital S, capital B. Like my friend recently asked my friend Sharon, and she was like, would you redo the morning pages? And I thought about the time in my life when I was doing the morning pages, and I was like, would I redo that time in my life? Not for an extra 5 years of life, no. Um,
We should start a artists way support group. We'll add an
the
addendum.
artist's way.
Yeah, we'll add an addendum to the artist's way where like every day you do your morning pages, every week you go on your artist date,
Mm.
and bi-weekly you must attend an artist way
Yeah.
support meeting where we can all just be like journaling in silence and sadness, but there
We're
with
all
each
sat in
other.
a circle like, "So what is 3 pages?"
My big beef with Julia Cameron. Julia Cameron?
Yeah.
My bit huge beef. How much time is
Um,
that? I write small. That's going to take me longer.
I have an entire
I should be
anatomy of bones
punished.
to pick with Julia Cameron. I have a fucking Smithsonian of bones to pick with Julia Cameron. Anyways,
Yeah.
to explain the lyric, I don't have it all. Yeah, I think when I look back on it, that was just from like very. Imagine your relationship ending 2 weeks into The Artist's Way, and just like
That's such a specific thing to say that, like, I think some people would really feel.
yeah, it just was
Yeah.
like wrestling with like that feeling of inadequacy. It's like the contending feeling of like, I'm not enough, but it's like I was too good for you, and like I don't have it all, but like that was like a loud thought in my head after
Mm.
that particular relationship ended, where I was like, I don't know how I could have done more. So if you want less, like I hope you find what you're not looking for, was like the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just stole that from a morning page and threw that in that song, and that now is
Heck
like
yeah.
one of my favorites on the EP. There's only 5, but
I'll be here picking petals just to get to I'll be your silver medal. Dude, every time I hear that, it's just
Yeah,
I'll
I
be your
mean,
silver medal is crazy. That's like a crazy thing to say.
that
Yeah.
actually is a line that is one of those ones where it's part of something bigger that I think could have been its own, like it could be its own spin-off song, because like
Yeah.
thematically you could do a lot with it, and we could do like another big metaphor maxing song.
Junkyard Baby interlude. The interlude, the series. Junkyard
The
Baby, the
morning way,
interlude, the show.
morning pages redux.
Yeah.
Um, Picking petals is like the classic. She loves me not. Um, and then like silver medal of just like not being chosen, and like there's
Yeah.
so much shame in not being chosen because you don't want to admit that you care about being chosen or not,
Mm.
which I think is bullshit. Everyone cares about being chosen. Um, but like accepting, it's kind of a similar vibe to Junkyard Baby. It's like, how much can I tolerate knowing I'm like not your first choice? But yeah, that line is crazy and I'm sorry.
It's
You making me apologize for all my
yeah,
lyrics in order.
that's what this podcast is for. Maybe love and grief are just twin sisters.
I love that line. I love that line. Um, yeah, I mean, like, what do they say, that like love or grief is like the love you never got to show?
Yeah.
Or like, have you heard? Oh God, this is gonna make me sick. That who said this? If love could have saved you, you would have lived forever.
Well,
Yeah, I'm gonna throw up. But
yeah.
that grief is, I really think it's that, where it's the love that like you still have, and you're like, where does it go? And
Yeah.
when a relationship ends, it's like you do feel grief because you weren't ready to stop loving that person.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, when it's just this like quiet, more or less mutual breakup, and you're like, oh, so there's no reason, like, oh, you didn't cheat on me, like I can't hate you for that, and I can't kind of put some of that, I can't trade some of that love for hate. It's just like still all love, and I just have to like sit and drown in it. Like, fuck you? Like
Yeah.
um yeah, so I think love and grief are, yeah, they are twin sisters, cuz like when an ugly bitch call you twin, like um
That's grief to love. Is that
yeah,
is
yeah, like we're not what?
we're not the
Um
same.
but they are related because it's grief is just like, I think, love in disguise. It's just being like
Mm,
uh it's kind of just love with nowhere to go, and
yeah.
you kind of just have to pour it into the artist's way, or going to the gym or journaling or whatever the fuck else you choose to do when you can't pour it into someone.
Yeah. Um, and then the my last line selection from
Mm.
Morning Pages, I hope we're both embarrassed. Was
That
another.
I don't think could be, that's like the uh is it the greatest common denominator? Like that's the basest level of like, you could metaphorize that feeling,
Mm,
but that was one where I was like, no, we need to say what we mean right now. It's like, I do hope we're both embarrassed. I hope, um, yeah, I'm glad I didn't choose to like metaphorize that, and that I was just like, it was another one where I'm like, if you hear this, this is for you. Like, you know what this is about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's plenty of lyrics like that where you could code it, but sometimes things are best said in the most like base and comprehensible way.
Yeah. There's something, I find this idea hard to articulate, so bear with me. But with songwriting, there's often, I feel like in my head, I have a few different buckets. I have like storytelling
Mhm.
bucket. I'm thinking of the ones that came to mind immediately were like some of those very story driven tunes on Taylor Swift's like Folklore Evermore, like
Mhm.
Betty, Last
Yeah.
Great American
Mhm.
Dynasty. They like
Mhm.
just very much like, here are things that are happening and happened, and we're telling a story. Then there's like the bucket that I have that's like a very huge bucket that I put lots of mid 2010s songwriters in, where it's a lot of like, I feel XYZ, I am doing this. This is, it's very straightforward.
Mm.
There's not much metaphor going on, and if there is, it's like one line of metaphor, and then we keep on just saying like thoughts.
Yeah.
And then I have another bucket that I have like Bon Iver in, where it's like very poetic,
Mm.
very ethereal to me, very like McGee, a lot of McGee lyrics are in
Yeah,
here,
yeah, yeah.
where it's like it's
Abstract.
it's abstract and yet specific, and
Mhm.
I might not understand what all the words are saying until I read
Yeah,
the
I know you know
lyrics.
what you're talking about, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am always very I think most kind of interested in the ways that people can like, I'm trying to think if I have other like buckets that I'm kind of that I classify songs into, but I'm always so impressed when writers can say what they want to say without it feeling cliche, or without it feeling kind of like that 2010 songwriter thing of like,
Mhm.
I went down the street and I'm feeling sad because I da da da. Morning pages is like, so feels like reading a diary. It feels like hearing your thoughts, because that's what it came from. It was,
Mhm.
I, to my understanding, kind of Frankensteined together from
Yeah.
these lines. And yet you Frankensteined it in a way that, again, the way you do it just like is so succinct and like condensed into something that all makes sense together. And these don't feel cheesy singer-songwritery. They're like,
Thank you.
they feel, and that's why it's hard to articulate, because it's like, I don't know what, I think it's also because like I can't really tell why they feel different to me.
I think the structure of the song, that's a great track that you sent, and I think structurally, it's I know what you mean, and it is hard to articulate, but I think because it's not a narrative song, there's and you as a listener, there's not so much anticipation in that sense of, like, how will the story end, and it meanders. I think you can
Hmm.
get away with a few lines that could be cliche but aren't, and I think
Yeah,
that's, like, the beauty of writing a song is that, like, you change the sound and you change the feeling and the story, and, like, a lot of those things are
yeah.
completely just contingent on, like, what you're hearing.
I have an example. This is the example I thought of many years ago that I think still might illustrate what I'm trying to say too.
Mm.
Let me know if this makes sense. There's a 21 Pilots song, Stressed Out.
Mhm.
The lyric is, I was told when I get older, all my fears would shrink, but now I'm insecure and I care what people think. Very down the
Mhm.
middle, very like, this happened is what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
In Childish Gambino's song 3005, he
Amazing.
says, I used to care what people thought, but now I care more.
Mm.
Those are those two lines are saying the same thing. That's, and yet there's something so much more visceral about the Childish Gambino one to me. And I
Mhm.
don't really know how to articulate why.
Because he's cooler than 21
Is
Pilots.
that all it is? Is that the whole
Could it
thing?
be melanin?
Could it
Do
be?
we think it could be melanin?
But
I see
like
what you mean, though.
the
Run me the
21
what's the
21
challenge
Pilots,
again?
I was told when I get older, all my fears would shrink, but now I'm insecure and I care what people think. I think that, okay, perfect rhyme is it play? I was told is a cliche thing to say.
Yeah.
Like there's a few things going on in the 21 Pilots one, whereas the Childish Gambino, I used to care what people thought, but now I care more. Is like right down the middle, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not trying to do too much. And I guess maybe that's what I'm saying. All the lines in this song are just right down the middle. They don't feel like they're trying to do too much. They're like directly to
Thank
the point,
you.
and they're just gonna reach out of your earphones and stab you in the chest. And I think that's great. I think it's beautiful. I really like
Yeah.
it. Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Well, I mean, I try not to be too explanatory. I think sometimes the explanatory nature of like assuming that someone won't understand what you're saying as a
Hmm.
songwriter can kind of take away. Sometimes the more spoon feeding you try and do, the more it actually hurts the
Sure.
ability to like enjoy it. And sometimes the best way to present something is the most essential
Mm,
way. That's what I think. And I think also though, like I try not to get too hung up about like, is this cliche or not?
mm.
And maybe my lack of shame in that sense reads in my music where you just like accept it as it comes. Cause I think if I get too
Oh,
hung up
sure.
about is this cliche, then I just will like sit at a page forever and ever. So if it's cliche, it's cliche.
Unfortunately, that's all of the lines I had written down. But I had a note though that I wrote from your tune Opposite Day, the last on the EP, that I have already expressed, but like that song specifically, I think, and even more so than the others, is so well tied in together. Like as I was listening through looking for specific lines with Opposite Day, no one line jumped out at me
Mm,
because it like all just paints that picture so well, I think. Like it all
thank
makes so
you.
much sense together.
Thank you. That one is though more narrative. So
Yeah.
I think maybe that's why it's not like
Yeah.
it's not a lyric showcase. So in the
Sure.
way Morning Pages is, um it's kind of a story or like a walkthrough of like a mental process. So
Whoa.
in that way, it since it's like to me, I didn't put pressure on myself to make that song very like lyric bangery.
Yeah.
It's more just like the whole process of like if it was opposite day, like we would be together,
Yeah.
and just kind of driving that home instead of trying to do gotcha lyrics.
Yeah. That's really interesting you say that because you're making me realize that maybe in my like little song framework thing that I shared a little bit ago, that yeah, like when something is feels more narrative, it almost feels like wrong to be very lyric showcasey. That feels
Mm.
maybe disingenuous to the narrative that you're trying to tell.
Yeah, and it just eats up space
Yeah.
and eats up time, and I think it eats up the space that's better spent on including details of that story. Like,
Yeah.
I'd run a 5K in matching separates. I could have said anything in that line, but like the point is that like I that's what I would do if it was opposite day. I would hop in the shower and shave my legs. Um, because
And
at the
there
time of writing that, I had not run, showered, or shaved my legs in an amount of time that I am,
undisclosed.
yeah, undisclosed.
And that like yeah, because each of those lines, while on its own, it's not like maybe a tattooable lyric,
Mhm.
but they all build upon each other to tell this story. That like the story itself is the main character.
Yeah,
Great.
completely.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you. That's so nice.
Okay. That is the end of my unnamed segment. I really need to start naming segments when I say this is a segment called, and then I don't know what to say.
We can call it is explain the lyric to
Okay, I'll go.
you drive to SEO friendly.
This is a segment we like to call "Explain the Lyric." Theme music. Just want to take a quick pause from the podcast to mention that I am posting bonus content every week on Patreon. If you have the means and would like to support myself in the show, please check out my Patreon page where you can find bonus content today with Elise and with lots of previous guests and all our future guests. So again, check out Patreon if you can, if you want to support. But let's get back to the show. Okay, let's talk about like just general style of the tracks, of the EP, maybe touch on to some genre. Where do you want to start there?
Genre.
There's too much. Yeah.
Style's a good place to start since you said it first.
Yeah.
Like, well, how would I describe my style?
Yeah, maybe how would you describe your style, or like how much is style influencing the writing process? How much, like I think that for me, I feel like I will write differently if I have an end goal in mind at the onset of picking up a guitar or playing the piano, versus if I just start playing a thing with no vision or guiding light, it ends up being very different. So I'm curious what that was like on the early onset of writing some of these songs.
Style, I feel like there's a good range on the EP, and I'm proud of that because typically I'll just sit down at the keyboard or the guitar and just chord it out and until it's done. And a couple songs are like that, Junkyard Baby and Opposite Day. Day One's kind of like that. Day One is one of the ones where like Opposite Day and Junkyard Baby are like miracle babies, where it just was like just fell in my lap kind of songs. And then Day One is like, you poke around on the page, then you come back, and then like it's like a little voice note, and then you come back.
Yeah.
And I think that's why stylistically Day One came out a little different. It's not like verse chorus kind of song. It's just moves funny. And yeah, I think you can hear me like inconsistently working on it. But I like that feeling, that kind of discordant. I don't know. I
Sure.
tend to think that whatever I end up doing is right, which I don't think is really a correct frame of mind because it maybe speaks to a poor work ethic. But
Mm.
I always tend to be happy with. I'm like, well, I can't change what it is now. So in terms of style, like the style is whatever I already did. But like sometimes you
Sure.
send me a track like Manifest and Morning Pages where like that pushes my style to change, which I
Mm.
really like. And that tends to like if I'm sent a track to write on, I then am forced to there's a finitude to how it's written. You know what I mean? The song's not going to go on and on. The song's going to, I mean, we can always change the track, but like
Yeah.
now I'm like, all right, am I going to tell a story? Is this going to be just like a thematic lyric showcase? Is this going to be kind of non sequitur style, like abstract?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so typically my style for when I'm writing on like a finished track is like the pressure's off to be like as unique or as like inventive as obviously I'm going to try, but like just go with what comes. Just like the
Yeah.
objective is to flow.
Sure.
And so Manifest, like the lyrics are very simple. Like you make me go, you keep me on my toes. I see you with me. I keep the thought close. Just like whatever the first ones are, just get it on the page and like get something going. And you had also written the melody for that, which I
I
don't think I've
agree.
ever written that way before,
Mm.
where like you were kind of just applesaucing, like,
Yeah.
and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, ah, shit. And sometimes having less freedom is harder, where it's like,
Yeah, for
well,
sure.
we said this last time, like, sorry, I didn't have time to write. Sorry, this letter's so long, I didn't have time to write a short one. And then when it's like,
Mm-hmm.
when there's more structure, it's harder because now there's rules.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think the range of my style is more limited by uh, how much pressure I want to put on myself to really do like all banger lyrics or just like really essential lyrics.
Interesting. How does that, what changes for you? Like, how do you go about that differently?
Um, I think it's I mean the word like I'm thinking like how much fun am I gonna have writing it? Which writing's not always fun, but
Yeah.
I think the range in fun, like there has to exist like a spectrum of fun when I'm writing. And like Manifest, for example. This is a track where Travis, he sent me the track and he sent me the melody. And so I'm like, I still want to have fun writing it. And usually a lot of the fun for me lies in coming up with the melody.
Mm.
So now, since the melody is already there, I need to have fun, like just letting it flow. So whatever the first lyric,
Let me make it as little fun as possible for you. That's my job.
it's always fun, but like I feel like um I'm like, I know me, I know I'm not gonna have fun if I sit here and like sit with this existing melody and try to make the most like esoteric lyrics I can think of. Like the
Sure.
most fun I can have right now and the most like reward for me is gonna be like getting it done and like letting it flow and seeing what
Yeah.
comes and like creating that space and that freedom for myself to like take the pressure off and just like put something down. And then, like, if I get to the end of that and find that I'm actually quite unhappy with it, then we can change it. But like the objectives are like enjoy the writing process, like finish it and like make something I'm proud of. And if one of those aren't there, then we'll go back and change. But I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah.
The way you're describing it makes me think of your background in like poetry and different poetry styles. It almost sounds like that, where it's like the difference in writing a haiku versus writing a
Mhm.
whatever. Um,
Yeah.
does that relate?
It does, it completely does. I literally forget that I studied poetry for many years. I forget all the time. But yeah, uh poetry takes so many forms. And there's you could do a haiku, you can do a sestina, you can do like iambic pentameter, whatever. Um, and I haven't even said any of those in so long because it's been so long since I've been in college, like studying poetry. I feel like I'm like naming friends I don't fuck with anymore. But yeah, I think form to me,
Hmm.
maybe it is because I wrote poetry by necessity for so long for school that like or like even with essays like a 5 paragraph essay or like a 10-page essay i I work by form often.
Hmm.
So like I said, with if you're sending me the track and like the melody, that's my form. So my
Yeah.
freedom, the range of my freedom is within that. If I'm just sitting down with a guitar, the range of my freedom is like boundless pretty much. um, and then you get fucking
Yeah.
like 5-minute songs like Movie Club or like but yeah, I do think when you mention it, I'm really informed and really influenced by uh I like a rule. I
Yeah.
it's helpful to be like to be rule following. It can be hard, like I said, but like yeah, I think it helps and it also helps to feel like at some point you'll finish the project.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were very rule followy with the new version of Junkyard Baby,
we sure were.
and that led to kind of being the most A to Z process with that
Mhm.
one than any
It's
of the
high
other ones.
yield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like knowing what you want is helpful. Crazy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, who would have
Because
thought?
often with music, I'm like I think I said this last time, I'm like that bitch on Say Yes to the Dress that, like, goes into the store. It's like, "I know what I'll want when I see it." And it like, that is so actually unproductive. It's conceptually good because you're being open-minded, but then, like,
Yeah,
you could just work on something forever.
yeah, yeah,
So, yeah, form and, like, rules are very helpful in the creative process, even though it feels antithetical to like the freedom of creation. A lot of that freedom lies in like knowing it has to look a certain way.
mm. Um, Forgive this question. I know this is going to be tough. This is going to be a
How
weird one.
much do you weigh?
Okay. What genre is this EP?
You're not allowed to ask me that.
I know. I
I feel
know.
like I feel like I
Like,
always just tell people indie pop, just or
isn't
like
that the
bedroom.
catch-all?
Yeah, just because it's so vague and like because it
Yeah.
doesn't actually answer the question. Um,
Yeah. Because even outside of what genre, oh no, this is what I was gonna say. Little little look behind the curtain moment for um this is one of those things that like I have mixed feelings about because on the one hand, I think everybody's music is unique and should stand apart and alone from anyone else. And on the other hand, I think being able to say, you'd see it on the shelf next to these three artists
mhm,
is helpful. So,
mhm.
for a look behind the curtain, what two, three, four artists either would you like want your music in the future to be on the shelf next to, or do you feel like this EP is on the shelf next to? Like, I want to kind of broaden this question as much as possible. But like, is that a helpful framework? Because
It
genre
is.
is crazy and it's like
Genre is
Manifest isn't the same genre as Day One.
mhm.
And
There's
yet,
such a range on this EP, and, like,
yeah,
genre is crazy in 2026 because there's so many, like there's 1 vajillion artists,
yeah,
and there's 1 William artists, and they all could fall into their own
right.
subgenre. There's really not, yeah, so if I had to pick 3 artists that I am on a playlist with, right?
Yeah,
Um, I would say aspirationally,
yeah.
Lord, because I think I'm influenced a lot by her, and I think we're close in age, and um,
Anytime I see a Lord meme, I send it to you.
it's true. It's the best. Um, Lord, just because I think also she comes from a similar place as myself, which is like very writing
Australia?
forward.
Oh, yeah.
Asia, no, um, she's Kiwi. Um, Also, did I tell you I was trying to bond with people in a New Zealand Kiwi people in a hostel this summer by mentioning Lord, and they just could not be fucked. And I just
Yeah,
was
yeah. They're
so
like, we don't
left
really
the
listen.
conversation with my stupid American tail between my legs. They're like, "Oh no, you don't really pay attention to Lord, but she seems big in the States." I was like, whatever, whatever. I don't
Yeah,
care about that.
yeah,
Um, Lord, she's like heavy writing background and like a lot of lyric zinger type writing.
yeah.
Um,
Lyric zinger type writing. I like that.
I would hope Chaim, again, this is
Hmm.
aspirational, but I think they inspire me a lot structurally because
Yeah.
I talk about Chaim songwriting a lot, but like songwriting in terms of like composition and like
Hmm.
not always doing things like going verse chorus if they want to, but doing like a funky instrumental bridge or like um
Yeah,
always like kind of this weird rockabilly like subverted pop thing. I think everyone
sure.
I'm gonna mention is like non-pop pop.
Sure.
Um And I guess Carly Rae Jepsen would be
Carly Rae
talking about
Jepsen
pop.
is
You
very
can't
pop
even
pop.
talk about pop when so throwing her so that into the 3 so that the mean of their sum is
Yeah,
like
pop pop.
still pop forward, but like throwing her in as like my proper pop contribution because she's just like you can't outdo her in terms of like pop.
Truly.
And
Have
she
you heard
has
her new stuff?
no, I'm a fake fan.
She has no like she very freshly come out. I'll send you one. It's like a very kind of 70s drum dance thing. It's really cool.
That's what I'm saying because she's always doing pop in a way that's like familiar but unexpected.
Mm,
Which I really respect about her, and I think I would love to be on a playlist with her just because, like, it feels like you've heard it before, but it's being done in a way that's, like, really refreshing and really technically correct and really just enjoyable. Like, there's just something to be
yeah.
said about music you can just fucking enjoy without thinking too hard, and I really like making that style of music as well.
One of the things that I really appreciate about this EP is that there are two songs. And maybe I'm also, yeah, because I'm lumping in Impact, which came out a few months ago,
Mhm.
year ago, a while ago. Um, where when you mention Haim and like playing with structure, there's a couple of your tunes that play with structure. Like day one has this huge tempo change, opposite day has a modulation. On impact, we go to a different key in the bridge.
Mhm.
I love that. Is that something that when you're writing, is that preconceived, or is that like you get to a point and you're like, oh, this needs XYZ?
I would say more the latter, where and thank you. And that's like I was saying, like a fun thing that like you make enough music and you're like, oh, this is like a thing I do.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think it comes later because like I love writing, but I really also love the process of making a song. And I think when I feel like something needs a little punch, it's fun. Oh, well, lying, caught in 4K, because day one I did write in the temperature. But like I said, day one was one where I like poked around and came back.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I mean. I came back and was like, I remember being like, this song is so slow. I was writing on the keyboard at my old house and I was like, the song is really slow. Like it starts slow, that song. And then I was like thinking about like how it feels to like overthink a breakup on day one of the breakup. And it just like when that pace picks up in your head and you kind of start losing the bearing of like how fast your thoughts are moving. And I
Mm,
remember just being at the keyboard and like trying the same chord that would be next in the progression, but like hitting it different. And I was
yeah.
like, oh, and I'll just
Yeah.
go with whatever helps me keep writing. And I was like,
Cool.
yeah. So sometimes, I guess to answer your question, sometimes it's not premeditated, but it is like something that the way I compose a song. And then other times we get into production and I send you something and I'm like, oh, it needs a little
Yeah.
like, and Impact
Yeah.
was that way where we're like, oh, you know what we should do?
It was,
You
yeah.
suggested it. Yeah.
Yeah, because the bridge, I think the bridge vocal felt really high, and we were considering like moving the key to accommodate the bridge vocal, but like the verse and the chorus sounded awesome. And so I was like, well, I want to keep it there, but I like we can, and then we were like, key change, which
Mm-hmm.
also added to the retroness of it, like because that's
Mm-hmm.
something that happened in pop music in the 70s that doesn't
Yes.
happen in pop music as much anymore. There's some artists
Yeah,
like,
I like it a lot. And then Opposite Day, I think it was just like the chorus is so repetitive. I wanted the last one. I also like I follow the feeling where I'm like the last chorus of Opposite Day is like the highest form of denial you can have about a breakup. And that I needed it to feel like so cerebral and so like singing higher and like trying harder to believe something that's not true.
yeah. And then ending the EP there on that note.
Hmm. Yeah, ending it in like I went back and forth about what the last song should be, and I was like, it's got to be Opposite Day because we got to end on denial. Like we
You know
need
what they
to end
say?
at an unfinished cycle of the stages of grief.
Yeah.
We can't end on acceptance. What do I look like?
So that we can then loop it right back into meaningless beginnings lead to meaningless
Hmm.
ends. Just
Exactly.
closed loop.
Hmm. It's the best day of the year. That's like that's the very last line of the EP. And
Yeah.
then if you started it over, it'd be day one. Womp womp. Me being like, I
Let's,
like writing pop songs that are easy to listen to.
yeah. I love Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yeah, baby, bring your ass back here.
Hmm. Okay. Well, on that note, let's jump in to the slow round. Take as long as you want on the questions, rifle through them, up to you. And this is again, this is the first time you've answered all these questions before, but neither one of us can remember your answers. So this will be fun and new.
Woo!
Even so, I think I've also added some. There are some new ones that weren't around week one,
Mhm.
or if I may, day one. Okay, question one. What are your
Also, haha to everyone that you have to listen to the EP to understand anything that we're talking about. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's 15 minutes. You have no reason not to listen to it.
heck
Sorry,
yeah.
keep going.
What are your beliefs around inspiration?
Okay, I'm better equipped to answer this now because
Mm,
I think the last time I asked for an example.
mm-hmm,
But dude, in writing since the CP,
mm-hmm.
I got all cocky, like I have an EP.
For the record, you mentioned writing since these songs as well a little while ago,
Mm.
and I hadn't even considered. I was like, oh yeah, Elise still writes music. Like there's gonna be new ones.
You can make more.
I got so excited. I was like, oh yeah, I've been like just so in the trenches with trying to finish this, and then I'm like, heck yeah, there's new
I
stuff.
took a break too, and I like picked up a guitar. I was playing chords, and I was like, oh my god, I can make more songs. Oh, I forgot about my songs. Like, I literally got
Yeah,
all cocky, like, with this CP.
yeah,
But my beliefs around inspiration, like I said, like, since writing more, I'm like, you do I have to I think I said a similar thing last time where just, like, I don't know, inspiration can be a bitch. Inspiration is like a it's like a stripper that you're in love with. Like like, it just feels like you're like, "This has gotta be a sure thing, right?" Like, I've put
hmm
enough into this where it's like, "Surely, like, this is real. This is a real thing," and you're like and then it runs away with your money and resources, and you're like, "Fuck," like but, um, there's also, like it can be like a high risk, high reward feeling.
mm,
But I
yeah,
think I think I said a similar thing last time where it's like you don't wait and like it's like you say, is it Faulkner? Like inspiration strikes every morning at 9. Like inspiration, you have to increase the surface area where you can be inspired. And if you don't, then you'll never be inspired. And like you'll wait forever. You'll get lucky. I trust you
yeah,
will. Um, but yeah, if you don't budget the time and the energy, then that stripper's not gonna come calling, like, you gotta
yeah. I've been saying that.
Um,
I
mm,
go for it.
no, you go.
Uh, I can't. I think a lot of people have said this. I can't remember a specific of where I heard it last. That like also part of doing that is so that if you show up daily and just like put in the work and don't necessarily feel inspired, your time and well, your time and resources going to this fickle friend that like you maybe aren't getting returns on, you're proving that you're trustworthy with
Mhm.
inspiration when it's ready for you. So when that inspiration strikes, you've now proven to the muse that you can handle what she might give you.
I
And I like
completely
that
agree with
thought.
that.
Yeah.
But I think that's, like unfortunately, that is a morning pages mindset where you're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, just sit down," and that now I'm, like, more well folded into the mindset of, like, you just have to keep writing, and then you just keep writing, and then something will happen, and maybe it won't happen, but, like, it's never gonna happen if you're not doing sitting there writing.
Yeah.
So, like, just sit there writing.
I've found too in looking at like notebooks or hard drives that when I'm good about showing up every day and like which I try to be all the time, but I'm not. I'll find that all four different songs that I think are my favorites of mine all happened within like a week or two. And then there'll
Mm,
be months of just nothing usable. But then I'm like, oh, how did all of those come right here? And like these are the ones that might work. I don't know what that is, but
yeah, I feel you. There'll be, like, stretches where you get the payoff
yeah.
of the effort. I will an addendum to my original,
Hmm.
belief around inspiration. You have to put how do I say this in a way that doesn't make me sound fucking lazy? I was gonna say you put quality in the backseat or just like you don't judge yourself the whole time because that is
Yeah.
like to me that's the number one like my number one op is just like to the creativity and to the flow is like this isn't good, or like this isn't worth, why am I sitting here budgeting time to do this when I'm just like writing bullshit? And I'm like, well, the other stuff's behind it. And if the bullshit doesn't get down, then like, so yeah. So budget the time. And then if the time is spent doing stuff that's subpar, then that is the cost of.
Great. You showed up. Yeah.
That's the cost of inspiration, is like that, like 75% of it sometimes is like pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
It's okay.
What do you find yourself?
The title of this episode, Elise loves mediocrity. Stream her EP.
This is a question that you suggested back before episode 1 even happened. And now I get to ask you again. What do you find yourself writing about most?
You know it's White Boy. You know the answer to this. Yeah. Yearning. It's still White Boy. It's still yearning. Sometimes gay yearning. That's okay as well. Yeah, I just find that the most creatively mobilizing thing in my life is like wanting something you can't have, or like feeling not chosen. I think whatever way my brain works, and I think a lot of artists, like, that is inspiring. It's just like it has to creatively, like, my brain saves that feeling for creative output. And puts it nowhere else, nowhere useful. It's not like I feel not chosen and I go to the gym, like, but like that, yeah, I find myself writing the most about. And I think too, lately, maybe it's having to do with my late 20s and kind of a lot of my broader philosophies of life, like developing. But like when I write essays or when I'm journaling, I'm really trying to streamline like my philosophy on life and like what my like core beliefs are. This is like really abstract and not super interesting, but I find that really inspiring in the last couple of years as well. As like, apart from like the yearning and the not being wanted of it all, I think just like going back and forth and kind of like finding the gray area between what my former concepts of like right and wrong were, and like rejecting everything that's been like, I don't know, in terms of like non-songwriting and like essay writing. And if you read my Substack ever, like a lot of it is just being like, I used to think this, but then I lived a couple more years and I think that it's not this. And it's also not the inverse of that. Like, just finding, now I've lived long enough to realize that living as the inverse of something is living as that thing, la la la. So a lot of shit in life is the same. But yeah, I think that's really inspiring to me as well right now. But you can't outdo White Boy in terms of inspiration. Sorry.
And I've been saying that too. Is there a piece of creative advice that you've especially resonated with?
The first thing that comes to mind, OG Jack Glazer, is my sweet boyfriend Jack, who you've had on the pod. So I forget. I think I was like semi-recently, sometime in the last year, like showing him a song I was working on and talking about putting like a voice memo on it. And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to just make like voice memo slop. And I think I partially said that thinking he would agree with me, because he tends to be like, he's just so much more of a musician than I am. And then he was like, no, you can just do whatever you want. And it was so simple, but it just was like, oh, I can. And in many ways, he probably shouldn't have told me that. But I think like it was just like such a strong, like a firm, subtle reminder that like, firstly, he didn't say this, but like, I have 10 streams a month. Like, I don't really need to overthink these things. But also, like, even if I was fucking Sabrina Carpenter, like, whatever I make is what I make. And like the fact that like it's what I wanted is what qualifies it as like good to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, just do whatever the fuck you want. It was very him, very punk rock, very um but yeah, I think that's the first thing
Cool.
that comes to mind.
Nice. Any advice for a new songwriter?
Um, get your heart broken.
Great.
Whatever this is genuine advice. Like, I think just like indulge yourself as much as possible emotionally. And I think like I think there's always, especially for male songwriters, I feel like listening to your pod, I feel like um I hear a lot of male writers say, I don't want to be corny. I don't want to be cliche. I don't want to, and there seems to be a broad male impulse to code your feelings,
Hmm.
which I don't blame any penis haver for feeling. I understand because society is bullshit. However, I don't think being vulnerable and being to the point and having like making essentialist emotional
Yeah.
points should have to be a female domain. Um, so I guess my advice would be like, feel free to indulge yourself. Like Jack said, like do whatever the fuck you want. If like how you feel, like don't go for like uh the second degree of like how you feel. Go for the first degree. Go for like exactly where the punch landed. Like whatever the
Yeah.
words come up there, say that and see how that feels. And
That's
you can
good.
say like, "You're a fucking bitch," and if that's what comes out, you don't have to say like, you don't have to turn it into a metaphor or like turn it into like something no one will understand. Unless that's like your fucking style and you want to just be unknowable and joyless, sure. But like,
Unknowable. Check.
yeah.
Joyless. Check. Cool. What is a creative goal of yours?
I wanna put another essay on my Substack before the end of the month, before my birthday, in which will have passed by the time this is out. But uh, yeah, another essay out. There's a collection of poems that I wrote when I was in Asia last month that I want to also put on the Substack and kind of like
Ooh.
anthologize and like streamline and edit because they're really rough. But put those together, publish those somewhere online, and then write another song and keep songwriting. Sorry, I don't know
Nice.
if you were thinking more like long-term goals,
I
but
was
I
thinking of an itemized list. This is perfect. Were there any songs written in on the trip?
no songs. I think
But
I just
poetry written on the trip.
poetry. Yeah, there's
Cool.
my friend gave me a journal. Shout out Sharon, and um, it was like nice to have a fresh journal for the trip. And I try to push myself to like um, every morning at breakfast just put something down. And I think
Nice.
um, yeah, I'm happy. I've been so caught up with the songwriting that I really haven't been doing poetry very much in the last couple of years, and it was
Yeah.
nice to get a little something down, even if it was like just like a little um, A B kind of situation.
Heck yeah. Is there a song by somebody else that you wish you would have written?
How long do you have? Like, um,
What jumps out first?
first one that jumps out is "Man of the Year" by Lorde. I think that's a really beautiful, cool song. Um,
Yeah.
and it's one where it's like I enjoy not quite knowing. There's plenty of subreddits where I could find out what it's about, but I enjoy some of the vagueness. Or sometimes I find vagueness kind of like ingenuine, or like, is
Yeah.
that a word? Um, I think I just like anything a woman does more than when a man does it. But yeah, I really enjoy that song, and I think it sounds cool and
Cool.
structurally is fun. And then another one is "Thirst Traps" by Audrey Hobart.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's like so jam packed lyrically, but still like another one that's like fun to listen to, easy to
Yeah.
listen to, but like thematically very personal.
Nice. Her, she just did a Tiny Desk.
I
Like,
saw.
I need to
I'm
watch it.
waiting
I haven't.
until tonight when I'm gonna cook dinner and throw it
Nice.
on and
Nice.
get stoned.
Heck yeah. Um, do you have any music you've been especially into recently?
Let me hop on my Spotify.
Heck
Let
yeah.
me. I mean, summertime is a very, oh, you know what? Without even looking, summertime, I always get back into Haim. Especially,
Hmm.
I've been traveling and I'm just going for like comfort music and
Yeah.
like stuff that's easy for me to like passive,
Hmm.
if I'm packing or whatever. Haim's second album, Something to Tell You, is there's so much. They they always do this on the album where it's like ranged within the same family.
Sure.
Everything seems to be like with the same genetics in every song, but like such different parts and different feelings. I
Hmm.
think they just are so good at that. I think because they're all like have been playing instruments since they were young. They all play drums, they all play guitar, they all play bass.
Yeah.
And they're sisters, so I think when you're writing from that familial standpoint, the product is just so tight and so cohesive. Who else is on here? New Ariana Grande, who I think is one of the most underrated songwriters of our generation. There's
Mm.
an artist who's like gonna give you the essential, unfiltered version. I think she's
Yeah.
great. Um, yeah, those are the main two.
Cool. Any writers or friends that you want to shout out that listeners should check out?
Plasma Pool, Jordan Fox, Claire Latrondo, my
Heck yeah.
EP, which is we haven't name dropped it yet. It's called "Thank You for Saying That" by Elise! Exclamation point.
Heck yeah.
Please stream. Like I said, you can go for a 1 mile walk, maybe 15 minutes, and listen to the whole
Yeah.
thing. Listen to it twice, 2 miles. Fuck it.
Amazing.
Um, and Trav.
Heck yeah. Well, Elise, thank you. Thank you
Thank
and
you.
congrats.
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm excited to pop it on Spotify and just listen off
Me too.
Sans hard drive and make you
Right?
0.004 cents per stream. I'm excited for
Woo! You have to. It's my birthday.
that. Thank you so much for listening to my conversation with Elise Latrondo. You can find her music wherever you stream music at the artist Elise! Exclamation point. New EP out. Thank you for saying that. Please check it out. Give it a listen. Give it many listens. We would both really appreciate it. You can also find her on social media and on Substack. She has a great Substack page. It's in her bio if you find her on Insta. If you enjoyed the episode, it would mean a lot to me if you shared it with a friend and left a positive review. Those both really help. You can watch full video of all episodes on YouTube under the Freewrite YouTube page. And if you have the means and would like to support myself and the show, please check out my Patreon page. I post bonus content from the podcast every week. I really want to keep this show going, and supporting me on Patreon is the best way to ensure that it's able to continue. Thank you again so much for listening this far. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I hope that you make some time for yourself to create something today.